Hey everybody, welcome to the Data Dig with RPR. My name is Nathan Graham, and today what we're going to do is take a look at RPR's commercial site selection tool. This is actually going to kind of pick up where that April Data Dig video left off. If you haven't seen that one actually covered us creating custom trade areas using the drive time as well as a radius tool. But at the very end of that one, we were applying some of the stuff that we learned in those trade area reports into the site selection tool. And so we're going to kind of spend some time on how the site selection tool works, maybe give you a couple ideas on where you can get the attributes that you're utilizing, and just in general kind of give you an idea what this tool is going to be able to do for you. So with all of that said, I thought what would be the best example is to actually go to a retailer's website, because a lot of times they will actually have the attributes that they want to be around. So here is Jersey Mike's. As you can see, they have actually a really nice real estate page here. So you have your space requirements, your location criteria, and then this is kind of what we're going to focus in on, which is the trade area criteria. So you can see here, they want to be in areas of 45,000 plus, 10,000 plus daytime workers, above average median incomes, strong concentration 25 to 54, mix of service professionals, and then 25,000 per day traffic counts. And so a lot of that we're going to be able to kind of target within the site selection tool. So with those in mind, let's hop back over to RPR. And up here at the very top, you have your research selection. Come down to commercial site selection. And so we're going to plug in our area, just like you would do with any other kind of search. And there is, over there on the right-hand side, the ability to use a map. So you can, use a 20-minute custom area around an intersection or the airport or a college or something like that. However you want to define your search area, you can do so. And then what we're going to do is focus in on some of those key criteria. So to me, the most important ones seem to be those population points. So we'll look at population stats, and they had total population as a factor, as well as the daytime working population as another factor. The other thing, let's add in here, median income. And so we can come down here to who they are, and then income. And you can see there's, again, a lot of different ways you can look at income. You can target, specific age ranges. You can also come down here if you have specific income ranges here. You can, kind of factor those in as well. For this one, since, they just have a basement of what they're looking for, we can just do a medium disposable income. Now there are criteria for age and those details as well, but I'm starting to get to the point where I only have two more, and if I wanted to look at all the different age groups, I'd have to select actually 3 of these. And so I'm going to leave that one off here, and I'll show you with the trade area reports you can then dive into those other details and just confirm that those meet the criteria as well. But what we'll do now is just click on Run Analysis. And so here is the Davidson County area, which of course is where Nashville is located. The way this works is the darker the purple, the better the fit. We have total pop, daytime worker pop, median disposable income, and you can see this is set up, to cities, geographies, which to me, I usually like to look at zip codes, so we can break it down a little bit more that way. You can see that there's not really one zip code that is a super primary fit, but the reason for that is because the system doesn't know that we have, these specific criteria. It's just looking for, the best fit based off of all 3 of these. And so these 3 categories don't have one, that is one being better than the other one. But because we know that we just have to hit, 50,000 median income, 10,000 daytime workers, 45,000 and total pop, we can come back here and just look at that. So total pop, anything above 45 is good, anything above 10 is good, anything above 50 is good. So that one we'll kind of hit that need. Continuing down, maybe we can sort this by total population to help us out. We have another one there. We have one here. That's pretty close. We'll give it a go. We have another one here. One here. And so you kind of get the idea of how this would work. You're basically just trying to make sure that the initial criteria that you're looking for is being met here. And once you've selected the ones that do meet that criteria, then you can come here and do your listing search. And so again, instead of looking for property across all of Davidson County, what we've now done is just looking for very specific areas, in this case zip codes, to kind of speed along that process. And so what we can now do is begin our basic search process. So I'm not going to go too far along this path, but we can select in retail. We could put in sales price, lease price, building square footage. I think most of y'all are pretty comfortable with that. Maybe we'll add commercial. Well, let's take commercial out. We had 29 of those. So we can update and do our search that way. And now, it'd just be like any other kind of search process. We would look for a property that kind of meets the look and the feel of the space. You can see this is actually an old Hooters, so maybe they can occupy that location. You got your sales information, all those details as well. And then, like I said, there were a couple of information points that we didn't factor in. So what we would want to do next is just come back to our trade area information. And let's say that, their trade area is a 10-minute drive time is their primary, and we'll call it noon is kind of their busiest time of day since it is more of a lunch area. Then we can click on Create Trade Area Report and then run that report. And as that is generating, I thought we could go back to the site selection tool, because I also want to emphasize that this isn't just a tool that can be used for retail. Really, this is a tool that is built to help you out regardless of what property type or sector you're working within. This tool is going to help guide you. As long as you know the drivers of that business, you can plug those in. So if you have an employee base that you want to be around or your client wants to be around, you can do a location that way. If you have a specific renter base or a medical needs base, any of those factors as well. Again, all you need to do is know your drivers, and away you go. So here's another example that I like to highlight as well. This one is kind of like a senior care facility. So if you're looking, maybe it's a developer that you work with, you can come in here and look at who these folks are. So this is kind of that renter base example. Plug in the age. This one, obviously, we would want to kind of target seniors. Next up, we have more criteria. One thing that's important to consider is the home ownership. So if folks own the homes on, primarily, there should be some equity built up in those properties, and you can then, use that equity to kind of finance the living. So we can come down here to facts and stats, housing stats, own a home. This is definitely one of those tools, just want to kind of play around with. What I did as I was learning was I actually wrote down who they are, age, seniors, facts and stats, housing stats, own a home, just because I would sometimes forget, where I found, home ownership or something like that. Then you have something like what they buy. We could throw on healthcare and maybe convalescent nursing care. But you get the idea, or hopefully you do. Again, you just click on Run Analysis. And, this time, since we're doing a city, there will be some different geography options for us. The size of your initial search is going to define what geographical boundaries you can then filter by. But you can get all the way down to the census block group if you wanted to. So just like before, here is Portland, Oregon. The dark purple areas are all the good, development opportunities. Right now, this is set to intermediate neighborhoods. We could change it to macros if we wanted to. The other thing I didn't mention earlier, you can actually create this as a trade area analysis report, which I would encourage you to do because it explains to your client, why you started looking for space in the areas that you did. There's countless examples I could point out where people have told me that running this report and including things like spending behavior has won them, opportunities. So this is definitely a valuable thing, not only to reinforce, your advice through data, but also just to maybe enlighten folks as far as what the opportunity might actually be. Okay. So I want to show you that commercial trade area report that we just ran. And so you can see what it looks like. So again, y'all have probably seen this one, especially if you watched that April video. But the other two categories we wanted to take a quick look at was just to ensure that the 25 to 54 age range was good. And then also taking a quick look at the employment sector. So, we know that the worker density and the total pop are going to work out well. We just need to kind of come down here and take a quick look. So again, they were kind of in that 25 to 54 range. So you can see that that range is pretty strong here. You can see that it's pretty robust. So this would be a good thing to pull out specifically for our Jersey Mike's folks here. And then we can come back and we can double check on the employment. So if we scroll down a little bit more, we have the employment count by industry. So they wanted to be around a lot of service folks. So you have the retail trade, the food trade, both heavy service, obviously. You have some manufacturing, professional, kind of blue collar sectors here as well. But this will give them an idea as to whether or not that aspect of the site selection is going to hold up as well. So we know we're in the right spot as far as population, as far as daytime working density, as far as median income needs. Now we just can send them this other data points and make sure that the area supports the opportunity that the property we found introduces. So with that, hopefully y'all can see a little bit more use case scenario for that commercial site selection tool. Again, just to get to it, click on research, come here to commercial site selection. It's all powered off of that Esri information that we collect. It's available nationwide, so I encourage y'all to play around with it, get to know where all the different data points are. There is a lot of it, and hopefully this will, not only make you more efficient as far as finding the right buildings in the right areas, but also give you that extra data point to really guide your clients and get that confidence from them. So with that, thank y'all so much for joining me, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Take care.